European tunnel networks, secret passages of ancient ages. Beneath the rolling hills, cobblestone streets, and ancient ruins of Europe lies a hidden world, a labyrinth of tunnels, caves, and secret passages carved into the earth by human hands thousands of years ago. These European tunnel networks, often referred to as secret passages of ancient ages, are more than mere geological curiosities. They are silent witnesses to the lives, fears, and aspirations of the civilizations that built them, spanning from the British Isles in the west to the Balkans in the east, from the Scandinavian peninsula in the north to the Mediterranean coast in the south. These tunnels vary in size, design, and purpose, yet they share a common thread. They were constructed in secrecy, for reasons that have puzzled historians, archaeologists, and researchers for centuries. Some are narrow, cramped corridors, barely wide enough for a single person to crawl through. Others are spacious chambers with vaulted ceilings and intricate carvings. Some stretch for kilometers, connecting villages, fortresses, and sacred sites, while others are short, hidden chambers tucked beneath homes or temples. Regardless of their form, these tunnels offer a unique window into the past, revealing the ingenuity, resourcefulness, and often the paranoia of ancient European societies. To truly understand these secret passages, we must delve into their origins, explore their distribution across the continent, examine the techniques used to build them, and uncover the mysteries of their purpose, from protection and defense to religious ritual, trade, and even escape. As we journey through the underground world of ancient Europe, we will encounter tales of war and peace, faith and fear, innovation and tradition, all etched into the stone walls of these forgotten tunnels. The story of Europe's ancient tunnel networks begins long before the rise of the Roman Empire, in the Neolithic and Bronze Ages, when early human communities first began to carve into the earth for shelter, storage, and ritual. The earliest known tunnel networks in Europe date back to around 4000 BCE, during the Neolithic period, a time when agriculture was emerging and human settlements were becoming more permanent. These early tunnels, often referred to as souterrains or earth houses, were typically dug into soft rock or soil, using simple tools such as stone axes, picks, and shovels. Unlike the elaborate tunnels of later civilizations, these Neolithic structures were relatively simple, narrow, low-ceilinged passages leading to small, circular chambers. They were often built near settlements, and their purpose is believed to have been primarily practical: storage for food and supplies, shelter from harsh weather or predators, and possibly a safe haven during conflicts with neighboring tribes. One of the most famous examples of Neolithic tunnel networks is the Clava Cairns in Scotland, a complex of passage graves and underground chambers dating back to 3000 BCE. These tunnels, carved into the sandstone, were used for burial rituals, with the chambers serving as tombs for important members of the community. The alignment of the tunnels with the sun during solstices suggests that they also had astronomical significance. serving as primitive calendars or places of worship for the Neolithic people sun gods. As Europe entered the Bronze Age around 3300 BCE to 1200 BCE, the construction of tunnel networks became more sophisticated. Bronze tools, which were harder and more durable than stone, allowed ancient builders to carve into harder rock, creating larger, more elaborate tunnels. During this period, tunnel networks began to serve a wider range of purposes, including defense, trade, and religious ritual. In the Iberian Peninsula, for example, the Tartessian civilization, which flourished in what is now southern Spain and Portugal, built an extensive network of tunnels connecting their cities and fortresses. These tunnels, some of which stretch for over 10 kilometers, were used to move troops and supplies secretly during times of war, as well as to transport valuable goods such as tin, copper, and gold, essential materials for the Bronze Age economy. The Tartessian tunnels were often lined with stone slabs and featured ventilation shafts to allow airflow, a testament to the builders' understanding of engineering principles. Similarly, in Central Europe, the Urnfield culture, which dominated the region from around 1300 BCE to 750 BCE, constructed underground tunnels known as Feldgraben field ditches that were used for defense. These tunnels were dug around settlements, forming a network of hidden passages that allowed defenders to move around the perimeter without being seen by attackers. Some of these tunnels were equipped with trapdoors and hidden entrances, making them ideal for ambushes and surprise attacks. The Iron Age, around 1200 BCE to 1 CE, saw a further expansion of Europe's tunnel networks, as civilizations such as the Celts, Germans, and Etruscans began to build more complex and extensive underground systems. The Celts, who inhabited much of Western and Central Europe, were particularly prolific tunnel builders. They constructed a variety of underground structures, including souterrains, storage chambers, and ritual caves, which were often integrated into their hill forts and settlements. One of the most impressive Celtic tunnel networks is the Oppidum of Manching in modern-day Germany, a large hill fort dating back to the 2nd century BCE. The Oppidum features a network of tunnels and underground chambers that were used for storage, defense, and religious ceremonies. The tunnels, which are carved into the sandstone, are up to 2 meters wide and 3 meters high, and some stretch for over 5 kilometers. They were equipped with ventilation shafts, drainage systems, and hidden entrances, making them both functional and secure. The Celts also built smaller tunnel networks in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, known as souterrains or fagus. These structures, which are typically narrow, low passages leading to small chambers, were used for storage of food and valuables, as well as a safe haven during raids. In Ireland, the fagus of County Clare and County Kerry are particularly well preserved, with some tunnels dating back to the 5th century BCE. These fagus often feature corbelled roofs, built by layering stones inward until they meet at the top, hidden entrances concealed by bushes or rocks, reflecting the Celts' desire for secrecy and protection. The Etruscans, who inhabited central Italy before the rise of Rome, also built extensive tunnel networks, many of which were used for religious purposes. The Etruscans were a deeply religious people, and they believed that the underworld was a sacred realm where the gods and ancestors resided. As a result, they constructed elaborate underground temples and tunnels, known as hypogea, which were used for rituals, sacrifices, and burials. The hypogeum of Caere, modern-day Servitory, is one of the most famous Etruscan hypogea, a vast underground complex of tunnels, chambers, and tombs dating back to the 7th century BCE. The hypogeum features intricate carvings of gods, goddesses, and mythical creatures, as well as frescoes depicting religious ceremonies. The tunnels are connected by narrow passages, and some chambers are large enough to accommodate hundreds of people. The Etruscans also built tunnels for practical purposes, such as water management. The Cloaca Maxima, a famous sewer system in Rome, was originally built by the Etruscans in the 6th century BCE, and it featured a network of tunnels that carried waste and water away from the city. While the Cloaca Maxima is primarily known as a sewer, it also served as a secret passage for troops during times of war, allowing Roman soldiers to move through the city undetected. With the rise of the Roman Empire, which began in the 8th century BCE and eventually conquered much of Europe, the construction of tunnel networks reached new heights of sophistication. The Romans were master engineers, and they used their knowledge of architecture and hydraulics to build extensive underground systems for a variety of purposes. Roman tunnels were used for aqueducts, sewers, mines, defense, and even as secret passages for emperors and nobility. One of the most impressive Roman tunnel networks is the Aquae Claudia, an aqueduct that supplied water to Rome from the Anio River, over 60 kilometers away. The aqueduct features a series of tunnels carved into the mountains, some of which are over 10 kilometers long and 3 meters high. These tunnels were built with precise measurements, ensuring that water flowed smoothly from the source to the city. The Romans also built tunnels for mining, particularly in Spain, Britain, and Germany, where they extracted gold, silver, lead, and other valuable metals. The mines featured extensive networks of tunnels and chambers, with ventilation shafts and drainage systems to keep the mines dry and safe. In Britain, the Roman mine at Donaghadee in Wales features a network of tunnels that stretch for over 7 kilometers, and it was in use for over 200 years. Roman tunnels were also used for defense, particularly along the empire's borders. The Hadrian's Wall, which stretches across northern England, features a network of tunnels and underground chambers that were used to store supplies, house troops, and monitor enemy movements. These tunnels were often hidden beneath the wall, with secret entrances that allowed soldiers to move in and out without being seen. During the Middle Ages, 5th century CE to 15th century CE, Europe's tunnel networks continued to evolve, adapting to the changing political, social, and religious landscape. The fall of the Roman Empire led to a period of instability, with many regions being invaded by barbarian tribes, such as the Goths, Vandals, and Franks. As a result, tunnel networks became even more important for defense, as communities sought to protect themselves from attacks. In medieval castles and fortresses, tunnels were a common feature, connecting the castle to nearby villages, rivers, or other fortifications. These tunnels, known as sally ports, allowed defenders to sally forth and attack besieging forces, or to escape if the castle was captured. One of the most famous medieval tunnel networks is beneath the Castle of Dover in England, which features a series of tunnels dating back to the 12th century. The tunnels were used to move troops, store supplies, and even as a prison for captured enemies. The tunnels are lined with stone and feature hidden chambers, trapdoors, and ventilation shafts, making them both functional and secure. In addition to defense, medieval tunnels were also used for religious purposes. Many monasteries and convents built underground chambers for prayer, meditation, and the storage of religious relics. These chambers, often referred to as crypts, were typically located beneath churches or chapels, and they were decorated with religious carvings and frescoes. The crypt of St. Peter in Rome, for example, is a vast underground complex of tunnels and chambers that contains the tombs of popes and other important religious figures. Medieval tunnel networks were also used for trade and smuggling. During this period, many towns and cities imposed heavy taxes on goods such as wine, salt, and textiles, leading merchants to use secret tunnels to smuggle their goods into the city without paying taxes. In cities such as Bruges, Antwerp, and Venice, tunnel networks connected warehouses, markets, and homes, allowing merchants to move goods secretly. These tunnels were often narrow and hidden, with entrances concealed in cellars or behind walls. In some cases, the tunnels were even connected to the city's sewer system, allowing merchants to move goods undetected by the authorities. Smuggling tunnels were also common along Europe's borders, where merchants would smuggle goods between countries to avoid customs duties. For example, along the border between France and Spain, there is a network of tunnels that were used to smuggle wine, tobacco, and other goods during the Middle Ages. These tunnels are often narrow and winding, with hidden entrances in the mountains or forests. Another important use of medieval tunnel networks was for escape. During times of war or political upheaval, nobility and wealthy citizens would use secret tunnels to escape from their homes or castles to safety. For example, during the English Civil War, 1640 to 1651, many royalists used tunnels to escape from parliamentary forces. The Castle of Nottingham in England features a tunnel that connects the castle to the River Trent, which was used by King Charles to escape from the castle in 1642. Similarly, in France, during the French Revolution, 1789, 1799. Many aristocrats used secret tunnels to escape from Paris to other parts of the country, or even to other countries. These tunnels were often dug quickly, using simple tools, and they were designed to be Chinese letter, and difficult to detect. Some tunnels were so narrow that only one person could crawl through them, and they often featured false walls or trapdoors to hide their entrances. As Europe entered the Renaissance period, 14th century CE to 17th century CE, the construction of tunnel networks began to decline as new technologies and social changes made them less necessary. The development of gunpowder, which revolutionized warfare, made fortresses and their tunnels less effective, as cannons could easily destroy stone walls. Additionally, the rise of centralized governments and the improvement of roads and transportation made trade and communication easier, reducing the need for secret tunnels. However, some tunnel networks continued to be built, particularly for religious and ceremonial purposes. For example, in Italy, the Renaissance artist and architect Michelangelo designed a network of tunnels beneath the Vatican, which were used to transport religious relics and to connect the Vatican to other churches and palaces in Rome. These tunnels are elaborate and well built, with decorative carvings and frescoes, reflecting the Renaissance's emphasis on art and beauty. Despite the decline in new tunnel construction during the Renaissance, many ancient tunnel networks were preserved, either by accident or by design. Some were forgotten, buried beneath soil and debris, only to be rediscovered centuries later by archaeologists or construction workers. Others were maintained and used for new purposes, such as storage, housing, or even as tourist attractions. Today, many of Europe's ancient tunnel networks are open to the public, allowing visitors to explore the hidden world of ancient Europe and to learn about the civilizations that built them. From the Neolithic souterrains of Scotland to the Roman aqueducts of Italy, from the Celtic fagus of Ireland to the medieval tunnels of England, these secret passages offer a unique glimpse into the past, revealing the ingenuity, resourcefulness, and creativity of ancient European societies. To fully appreciate the significance of Europe's ancient tunnel networks, it is important to examine their distribution across the continent. These tunnels are not evenly distributed. Instead, they are concentrated in certain regions, reflecting the unique geography, history, and culture of each area. In Western Europe, for example, the British Isles are home to a large number of Neolithic and Bronze Age tunnel networks, including the Clavacairns in Scotland, the Newgrange Passage tomb in Ireland, and the Maiden Castle souterrains in England. These tunnels are typically small, simple structures built for burial, storage, or ritual. In Central Europe, the Celtic and Germanic tribes built extensive tunnel networks, including the Oppidum of Manching in Germany and the Hallstatt salt mines in Austria. These tunnels were larger and more complex, serving as defense fortifications, storage facilities, and religious sites. In southern Europe, the Etruscans and Romans built elaborate tunnel networks, such as the Hypogeum of Carrhae in Italy and the Aquae Claudia Aqueduct. These tunnels were engineering marvels, designed for water management, mining, and defense. In Eastern Europe, the Balkans are home to a number of ancient tunnel networks, including the tunnel networks beneath the city of Plovdiv in Bulgaria and the ancient Thracian tombs in Romania. These tunnels were used for burial, ritual, and defense, and they feature intricate carvings and decorations. The construction techniques used to build Europe's ancient tunnel networks varied depending on the time period, the available materials, and the purpose of the tunnel. In the Neolithic period, builders used simple stone tools to dig into soft soil or sandstone, creating narrow, low-ceilinged passages. They often used wooden supports to prevent the tunnels from collapsing, and they lined the walls with clay or stone to make them more stable. In the Bronze Age, with the introduction of bronze tools, builders were able to carve into harder rock, creating larger, more elaborate tunnels. They used chisels, hammers, and picks to shape the rock, and they often used fire to heat the rock, making it easier to break. In the Iron Age, the Celts and Etruscans developed more advanced construction techniques, including corbelled roofing, where stones are layered inward to form a dome, and vaulted ceilings. They also used drainage systems and ventilation shafts to improve the functionality of the tunnels. The Romans, who were master engineers, used a variety of techniques to build their tunnels, including the use of concrete, which allowed them to construct large, stable tunnels in even the hardest rock. They also used surveying tools to ensure that the tunnels were straight and level, and they built ventilation shafts and drainage systems to keep the tunnels dry and safe. One of the most remarkable aspects of Europe's ancient tunnel networks is their durability. Many of these tunnels have survived for thousands of years, despite exposure to the elements, earthquakes, and human activity. This durability is a testament to the skill and craftsmanship of the ancient builders, who used high-quality materials and sound engineering principles. For example, the Roman aqueduct tunnels in Italy are still standing today, over 2,000 years after they were built, and some are even still in use. The Celtic fagus in Ireland have survived for over 2,500 years, and they remain relatively intact, despite being buried beneath soil and debris for centuries. The durability of these tunnels is also due to their location. Many are carved into solid rock, which is resistant to erosion and decay. Additionally, the secretive nature of the tunnels meant that they were often not disturbed by later civilizations, allowing them to remain preserved for centuries. The purpose of Europe's ancient tunnel networks has been a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists for centuries. While some tunnels clearly served practical purposes, such as storage, defense, or water management, others have no obvious practical function, leading researchers to speculate about their religious or ceremonial significance. One of the most common theories is that many tunnel networks were used for religious rituals and ceremonies. For example, the Neolithic passage graves in Scotland and Ireland are aligned with the sun during solstices, suggesting that they were used for sun worship or astronomical observations. The Etruscan hypogea were clearly used for religious purposes, with carvings and frescoes depicting gods and goddesses, and evidence of sacrifices and rituals. The Celtic fagus may have been used for ritual gatherings, as well as for storage and defense. Another theory is that some tunnel networks were used as hiding places for people or valuables during times of war or conflict. This is particularly true of the medieval tunnels, which were often built to allow people to escape from besieged castles or towns. Some tunnels were also used to hide religious relics or treasures from invaders, such as the tunnels beneath the monasteries of Ireland, which were used to hide Christian relics during the Viking invasions. Trade and commerce were also important purposes for many ancient tunnel networks. In the Bronze Age, the Tardetian tunnels in Spain were used to transport valuable metals, such as tin and copper, which were essential for the production of bronze. The Roman mines in Britain and Spain used tunnel networks to extract and transport minerals, and the medieval smuggling tunnels were used to move goods without paying taxes. Some tunnel networks also served as communication routes, allowing people to move between settlements without being seen by enemies or authorities. For example, the Celtic oppida, hillforts, featured tunnel networks that connected different parts of the settlement, allowing people to move freely without being exposed to danger. In addition to these practical purposes, some tunnel networks may have had symbolic or cultural significance. For example, the passage graves of the Neolithic period may have been used to symbolize the journey from life to death, with the tunnel representing the path to the underworld. The Etruscan hypogea were designed to mimic the underworld, with the tunnels and chambers representing the different realms of the afterlife. One of the most fascinating aspects of Europe's ancient tunnel networks is the mystery surrounding their construction. In many cases, the builders of these tunnels left no written records, making it difficult to determine who built them, when they were built, and why. For example, the Newgrange Passage tomb in Ireland, which dates back to 3200 BCE, features a narrow tunnel leading to a central chamber, which is aligned with the rising sun on the winter solstice. The construction of this tunnel required precise astronomical knowledge, as well as advanced engineering skills. Yet, the Neolithic people who built it had no written language and limited tools. How did they acquire this knowledge? How did they manage to carve the tunnel so precisely, using only stone tools? These questions remain unanswered, and they continue to fascinate researchers and historians. Similarly, the tunnel networks beneath the city of Derinkuyu in Turkey, which is technically in Asia, but has strong cultural ties to Europe, are a mystery. Derinkuyu is an underground city that features a network of tunnels, chambers, and passages that can accommodate up to 20,000 people. The city was built by the Hittites around 1200 BCE, but no one knows exactly why it was built or how the Hittites managed to construct such an elaborate underground complex. Another mystery surrounding Europe's ancient tunnel networks is their connection to each other. Some researchers have suggested that there is a vast, interconnected network of tunnels spanning the entire continent, linking different civilizations and settlements. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, there are some intriguing similarities between tunnel networks in different regions. For example, the Celtic fagus in Ireland and Scotland are very similar in design to the souterrains in France and Germany, suggesting that there may have been a shared cultural or technological influence. Similarly, the Roman aqueduct tunnels in Italy are similar in design to the aqueducts in Spain and Britain, reflecting the Roman Empire's influence across the continent. However, most historians and archaeologists believe that the tunnel networks were built independently by different civilizations, each adapting their design to their specific needs and environment. The similarities between tunnel networks in different regions are likely due to shared practical needs, such as defense or storage, rather than a single, interconnected network. Over the years, many ancient tunnel networks have been rediscovered, often by accident. In 1940, for example, a group of children playing in a forest near Montignac, France, discovered the Lascaux Caves, a network of tunnels and chambers decorated with prehistoric paintings. The caves, which date back to around 17,000 BCE, are one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, providing valuable insights into the art and culture of the Paleolithic period. Similarly, in 2008, construction workers in Vienna, Austria, discovered a network of Roman tunnels beneath the city, which were used for water management and storage. The tunnels, which date back to the 1st century CE, are well preserved and feature intricate carvings and inscriptions. In recent years, advances in technology have made it easier to discover and explore ancient tunnel networks. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and LIDAR, light detection and ranging, are now used to map underground structures without having to dig them up, allowing researchers to explore tunnel networks that are too fragile or dangerous to enter. These technologies have led to the discovery of many new tunnel networks, including a network of Neolithic tunnels beneath the city of Brighton, England, which were discovered in 2019. Today, many of Europe's ancient tunnel networks are protected as cultural heritage sites, and they are open to the public for tour and exploration. These tunnels not only provide a unique window into the past, but also serve as important educational tools, teaching people about the history, culture, and engineering skills of ancient European civilizations. For example, the Clavicairns in Scotland are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and they attract thousands of visitors each year who come to explore the Neolithic passage graves and learn about the ancient people who built them. The Roman aqueducts in Italy, such as the Aquae Claudia and the Pont du Gard, are also popular tourist attractions, showcasing the engineering prowess of the Roman Empire. The medieval tunnels beneath the Castle of Dover in England are open to the public, allowing visitors to explore the secret passages used by soldiers and nobility during times of war. In addition to being tourist attractions, these tunnel networks are also the subject of ongoing research, as archaeologists and historians continue to uncover new information about their construction, purpose, and history. Despite their importance, Europe's ancient tunnel networks face a number of threats, including erosion, pollution, and human activity. Many tunnels are located in areas that are prone to flooding or landslides, which can damage the stone walls and ceilings. Pollution from nearby cities and industrial areas can also damage the tunnels, as chemicals and pollutants seep into the ground and corrode the stone. Human activity, such as construction, mining, and tourism, can also pose a threat to the tunnels. For example, excessive tourism can cause wear and tear on the tunnel walls, and construction projects can damage or destroy underground structures. To protect these valuable cultural heritage sites, governments and conservation organizations are implementing a variety of measures, including monitoring the tunnels for damage, limiting the number of visitors, and implementing conservation projects to repair and preserve the tunnels. For example, the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Newgrange in Ireland has implemented a strict visitor policy, limiting the number of people who can enter the tunnel each day to protect the delicate stonework and paintings. The study of Europe's ancient tunnel networks is a multidisciplinary field involving archaeologists, historians, engineers, geologists, and anthropologists. Each discipline brings a unique perspective to the study of these tunnels, helping to uncover their secrets and understand their significance. Archaeologists excavate the tunnels, looking for artifacts and evidence of human activity, such as tools, pottery, and bones. Historians analyze written records and historical documents to learn about the civilizations that built the tunnels and their purpose. Engineers study the construction techniques used to build the tunnels, examining the materials and methods used to ensure their durability. Geologists analyze the rock and soil surrounding the tunnels, helping to determine when they were built and how they have been affected by natural processes. Anthropologists study the cultural and social significance of the tunnels, exploring how they fit into the lives and beliefs of the ancient people who built them. Together, these disciplines work to paint a complete picture of Europe's ancient tunnel networks, revealing the stories of the people who built them and the world they lived in. One of the most exciting areas of research into Europe's ancient tunnel networks is the use of advanced technology to explore and analyze them. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, is used to create detailed maps of underground structures, allowing researchers to see the layout of tunnel networks without having to dig them up. LiDAR technology is used to create 3D models of the tunnels, which can be used to study their design and construction. DNA analysis is used to identify the remains of people who lived or worked in the tunnels, providing insights into their diet, health, and genetic makeup. Isotope analysis is used to determine the origin of the materials used to build the tunnels, such as the stone and wood, which can help to trace trade routes and cultural connections. These technologies are revolutionizing the study of ancient tunnel networks, allowing researchers to uncover new information that was previously impossible to access. Another area of research is the study of the social and cultural significance of tunnel networks. For example, researchers are exploring how tunnel networks were used to reinforce social hierarchies, with certain tunnels being reserved for nobility or religious leaders. They are also studying how tunnel networks were used to create a sense of community, with people coming together to build and maintain the tunnels. In some cases, tunnel networks may have been used to mark territorial boundaries, with different tribes or civilizations building tunnels to claim their land. Additionally, researchers are exploring the role of tunnel networks in religious and ceremonial practices, examining how they were used to connect the living to the dead, or to communicate with the gods. This research is helping to shed light on the beliefs and values of ancient European civilizations, and it is providing a deeper understanding of their way of life. As we continue to explore and study Europe's ancient tunnel networks, we are constantly uncovering new mysteries and insights. Each tunnel tells a story of survival, innovation, faith, and fear. These secret passages of ancient ages are more than just underground structures. They are a testament to the human spirit, and they remind us of the ingenuity and resourcefulness of our ancestors. They are a link between the past and the present, connecting us to the civilizations that built them, and helping us to understand our own history and culture. Whether we are exploring the Neolithic passage graves of Scotland, the Roman aqueducts of Italy, or the medieval tunnels of England, we are walking in the footsteps of the ancient people who built these remarkable structures. We are seeing the world through their eyes, and we are gaining a deeper appreciation for the challenges they faced and the achievements they accomplished. In conclusion, Europe's ancient tunnel networks are a fascinating and important part of the continent's cultural heritage. They span thousands of years of history, from the Neolithic period to the Middle Ages, and they reflect the diverse cultures, technologies, and beliefs of the civilizations that built them. These tunnels were built for a variety of purposes: defense, storage, trade, religious ritual, and escape. And they showcase the ingenuity, skill, and resourcefulness of ancient European builders. While many mysteries remain about their construction and purpose, ongoing research and technological advances are helping to uncover their secrets. As we continue to explore and preserve these tunnel networks, we are not only protecting a valuable part of our history, but also gaining a deeper understanding of the people who built them and the world they lived in. The secret passages of ancient ages are a reminder of the rich and complex history of Europe, and they will continue to fascinate and inspire generations to come. To further elaborate on the diversity and complexity of Europe's ancient tunnel networks, it is essential to delve deeper into specific examples from different regions and time periods, exploring their unique features, construction techniques, and purposes. By examining these specific cases, we can gain a more detailed understanding of how these tunnels were built and used, and how they reflect the cultural and historical context of the civilizations that created them. One such example is the Newgrange Passage tomb in Ireland, which is one of the oldest and most impressive Neolithic tunnel networks in Europe. Newgrange was built around 3200 BCE during the Neolithic period, and it consists of a large circular mound with a narrow tunnel leading to a central chamber. The tunnel is approximately 19 meters long, and it is lined with stone slabs, some of which are decorated with intricate carvings of spirals, circles, and other patterns. The central chamber is a cruciform shape, with 3 smaller chambers leading off from it, and it contains the remains of several people, as well as pottery and other artifacts. The most remarkable feature of Newgrange is its alignment with the rising sun on the winter solstice. On this day, the sun rises directly over the entrance to the tunnel, and a beam of light travels down the tunnel and illuminates the central chamber, creating a dramatic effect. This alignment suggests that Newgrange was used for astronomical observations and religious rituals, possibly related to the worship of the sun god. The construction of Newgrange required a tremendous amount of planning and labor, as the builders had to transport large stone slabs, some weighing over 10 tons, from miles away, and carve them with precision. The fact that they were able to align the tunnel so perfectly with the winter solstice is a testament to their astronomical knowledge and engineering skills. Another important example is the Oppidum of Manching in Germany, a large Celtic hill fort dating back to the 2nd century BCE. The Oppidum covers an area of over 380 hectares, making it one of the largest Celtic settlements in Europe. Beneath the Oppidum lies an extensive network of tunnels and underground chambers, which were used for a variety of purposes. The tunnels are carved into the sandstone, and they vary in size and shape, with some being wide enough to walk through, and others being narrow and cramped. The tunnels connect different parts of the Oppidum, including the residential areas, workshops, and fortifications, allowing people to move freely without being seen by enemies. They also feature storage chambers for food, weapons, and other supplies, as well as ritual chambers for religious ceremonies. One of the most impressive features of the Manching tunnel network is its ventilation system, which consists of shafts leading from the tunnels to the surface, allowing fresh air to flow in and stale air to escape. The tunnels also have drainage systems to keep them dry, and some chambers are lined with clay to prevent water from seeping in. The construction of the Manching tunnel network required advanced engineering engineering skills, and it is a testament to the Celts' ability to build complex underground structures. The Hypogeum of Caere in Italy, an Etruscan underground complex dating back to the 7th century BCE, is another remarkable example of an ancient tunnel network. The Hypogeum is a vast system of tunnels, chambers, and tombs carved into the tuff, a type of volcanic rock, beneath the city of Cerveteri. The tunnels are connected by narrow passages, and the chambers vary in size, with some being large enough to accommodate hundreds of people. The walls of the tunnels and chambers are decorated with intricate carvings and frescoes, depicting gods, goddesses, mythical creatures, and scenes from Etruscan life. The Hypogeum was used for a variety of purposes, including burials, religious rituals, and sacrifices. Many of the chambers contain tombs, some of which are decorated with gold, silver, and other precious materials, indicating that they were used for important members of Etruscan society. The Etruscans believed that the underworld was a sacred realm, and the Hypogeum was designed to mimic this realm, with the tunnels representing the path to the afterlife. The construction of the Hypogeum of Caere required a great deal of skill and labor, as the builders had to carve through hard, tough rock and create elaborate decorations. The Hypogeum is one of the best preserved Etruscan sites in Italy, and it provides valuable insights into Etruscan culture, religion, and art. The Roman aqueducts are another important example of Europe's ancient tunnel networks, showcasing the Romans' engineering prowess. The Aquae Claudia, which was built between 38 and 52 CE, is one of the most impressive Roman aqueducts, supplying water to Rome from the Anio River, over 60 kilometers away. The aqueduct features a series of tunnels carved into the mountains, some of which are over 10 kilometers long and 3 meters high. The tunnels are built with precise measurements, ensuring that water flows smoothly from the source to the city. The Romans used a variety of techniques to build the tunnels, including the use of concrete, which allowed them to construct large, stable structures in even the hardest rock. They also used surveying tools to ensure that the tunnels were straight and level, and they built ventilation shafts and drainage systems to keep the tunnels dry and safe. The Aquae Claudia was in use for over 400 years, and it is still standing today, a testament to the Romans' engineering skills. Another important Roman tunnel network is the Cloaca Maxima, a sewer system in Rome that was originally built by the Etruscans in the 6th century BCE and later expanded by the Romans. The Cloaca Maxima features a network of tunnels that carry waste and water away from the city, and it also served as a secret passage for troops during times of war. In the medieval period, the Castle of Dover in England features one of the most extensive tunnel networks in Europe. The tunnels date back to the 12th century, and they were built to connect the castle to nearby villages, rivers, and other fortifications. The tunnels are lined with stone and feature hidden chambers, trapdoors, and ventilation shafts, making them both functional and secure. The tunnels were used for a variety of purposes, including moving troops, storing supplies, and housing prisoners. During the English Civil War, the tunnels were used by royalists to escape from parliamentary forces, and they also served as a hiding place for weapons and ammunition. The tunnels are open to the public today, and visitors can explore the various chambers and passages, including the Great Escape Tunnel, which was used by prisoners during World War II. The Castle of Dover's tunnel network is a fascinating example of how medieval tunnel networks were adapted to meet the changing needs of society. From defense to escape, the Fagus of Ireland and Scotland are another important type of ancient tunnel network dating back to the Iron Age. These structures, which are typically narrow, low passages leading to small chambers, were built by the Celts for storage, defense, and ritual. The Fagus of County Clare in Ireland, such as the Caherconnell Fagu, are particularly well preserved. The Caherconnell Fagu features a narrow tunnel leading to a small chamber with a corbelled roof and hidden entrance. The tunnel is approximately 10 meters long, and it is lined with stone slabs. The Fagu was likely used for storing food and valuables, as well as a safe haven during raids. The corbelled roof, which is built by layering stones inward until they meet at the top, is a remarkable example of Celtic engineering, and it demonstrates the Celts' ability to build stable underground structures without the use of mortar. The Fagus of Scotland, such as the Carn Uni Fagu in Cornwall, are similar in design, and they provide valuable insights into the daily life and culture of the Celtic people. The Hallstatt salt mines in Austria are another important example of ancient tunnel networks dating back to the Bronze Age. The mines were used to extract salt, which was a valuable commodity in ancient times, used for preserving food and as a form of currency. The mines feature an extensive network of tunnels and chambers carved into the salt rock, and they were in use for over 2,000 years. The tunnels are narrow and winding, with some passages being barely wide enough for a single person to crawl through. The miners used simple tools such as picks and shovels to carve the tunnels, and they built wooden supports to prevent the salt rock from collapsing. The Hallstatt salt mines are open to the public today, and visitors can explore the tunnels and learn about the history of salt mining in ancient Europe. The mines also contain a number of artifacts, including tools, pottery, and human remains, which provide valuable insights into the lives of the miners. The tunnel networks beneath the city of Plovdiv in Bulgaria are another fascinating example of ancient European tunnels. Plovdiv is one of the oldest cities in Europe, with a history dating back to the Neolithic period, and it features a network of tunnels that span thousands of years. The tunnels were built by various civilizations, including the Thracians, Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans, and they served a variety of purposes, including defense, storage, and trade. The Thracian tunnels, which date back to the 5th century BCE, are narrow and cramped, and they were used for burial and ritual. The Roman tunnels, which were built during the 1st century CE, are larger and more elaborate, and they were used for water management and storage. The Byzantine and Ottoman tunnels, which date back to the Middle Ages, were used for defense and trade, and they feature hidden entrances and trapdoors. The tunnel networks beneath Plovdiv are currently being excavated and restored, and they provide valuable insights into the city's long and complex history. In addition to these specific examples, there are many other ancient tunnel networks throughout Europe, each with its own unique features and history. For example, the tunnels beneath the city of Naples in Italy, known as the Catacombs of San Gennaro, are a network of underground chambers and passages used for burials during the Roman period. The catacombs feature intricate carvings and frescoes, and they contain the remains of thousands of people. The tunnels beneath the city of Paris, known as the Catacombs of Paris, are another famous example, containing the remains of over 6 million people moved there during the 18th and 19th centuries to address overcrowding in Parisian cemeteries. While the Paris catacombs are not ancient in the strictest sense, they were created in the 18th century. They are a testament to the long history of tunnel construction in Europe and the various uses of underground spaces. The construction techniques used to build these tunnel networks varied widely depending on the time period and the available materials. In the Neolithic period, builders used simple stone tools to dig into soft soil or sandstone, creating narrow, low-ceilinged passages. They often used wooden supports to prevent the tunnels from collapsing, and they lined the walls with clay or stone to make them more stable. In the Bronze Age, with the introduction of bronze tools, builders were able to carve into harder rock, creating larger, more elaborate tunnels. They used chisels, hammers, and picks to shape the rock, and they often used fire to heat the rock, making it easier to break. In the Iron Age, the Celts and Etruscans developed more advanced construction techniques, including corbelled roofing and vaulted ceilings. They also used drainage systems and ventilation shafts to improve the functionality of the tunnels. The Romans, who were master engineers, used a variety of techniques to build their tunnels, including the use of concrete, which allowed them to construct large, stable tunnels in even the hardest rock. They also used surveying tools to ensure that the tunnels were straight and level, and they built ventilation shafts and drainage systems to keep the tunnels dry and safe. The materials used to build the tunnels also varied depending on the region. In areas with soft rock, such as sandstone or tuff, builders could carve the tunnels directly into the rock. In areas with hard rock, such as granite, builders had to use more advanced techniques, such as fire setting, heating the rock, and then pouring water on it to make it crack, or using iron tools to chisel the rock. In some cases, builders used brick or stone to line the tunnels, making them more stable and durable. The Romans, in particular, used concrete made from volcanic ash, lime, and water, which was extremely strong and durable, allowing them to build large, stable tunnels that have survived for thousands of years. The purpose of these tunnel networks also evolved over time. reflecting the changing needs of the civilizations that built them. In the Neolithic period, tunnels were primarily used for burial, storage, and ritual. In the Bronze Age, they were used for defense, trade, and religious ritual. In the Iron Age, they were used for defense, storage, religious ritual, and communication. During the Roman period, tunnels were used for water management, mining, defense, and communication. In the medieval period, they were used for defense, escape, smuggling, and religious ritual. Despite these changes, one common thread runs through all of these tunnel networks. They were built in secrecy, for reasons that were often hidden from outsiders. This secrecy reflects the paranoia and fear of ancient societies, which were often threatened by war, invasion, and social unrest. It also reflects the importance of these tunnels to the people who built them, who were willing to invest a great deal of time, labor, and resources to create them. Study of Europe's ancient tunnel networks is not only important for understanding the past, but also for informing the present and the future. These tunnels provide valuable insights into the engineering skills and technological innovations of ancient civilizations, which can inspire modern engineers and architects. They also provide a unique window into the social, cultural, and religious beliefs of ancient people, helping us to understand how they viewed the world and their place in it. Additionally, the preservation of these tunnel networks is important for protecting Europe's cultural heritage and ensuring that future generations can learn from and appreciate the achievements of their ancestors. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in Europe's ancient tunnel networks, both among researchers and the general public. This interest has led to increased funding for archaeological research and conservation projects, as well as the development of new technologies to explore and study these tunnels. For example, the use of ground-penetrating radar GPR and LIDAR has allowed researchers to map underground structures without having to dig them up, making it possible to explore tunnel networks that are too fragile or dangerous to enter. DNA analysis and isotope analysis have allowed researchers to learn more about the people who built and used the tunnels, providing insights into their diet, health, and genetic makeup. These advances in technology are revolutionizing the study of ancient tunnel networks, allowing researchers to uncover new information that was previously impossible to access. Despite these advances, there are still many mysteries surrounding Europe's ancient tunnel networks. For example, we still do not know who built some of the earliest tunnel networks, such as the Neolithic souterrains in Scotland and Ireland, or how they acquired the astronomical knowledge needed to align the tunnels with the sun. We also do not know the exact purpose of some tunnel networks, such as the Fagus of Ireland and Scotland, which may have been used for ritual purposes that we do not fully understand. Additionally, we do not know if there are more tunnel networks that have not yet been discovered, hidden beneath the soil and debris of Europe's cities and countryside. As we continue to explore and study Europe's ancient tunnel networks, we are constantly uncovering new mysteries and insights. Each tunnel tells a story of survival, innovation, faith, and fear. These secret passages of ancient ages are more than just underground structures. They are a testament to the human spirit, and they remind us of the ingenuity and resourcefulness of our ancestors. They are a link between the past and the present, connecting us to the civilizations that built them, and helping us to understand our own history and culture. Whether we are exploring the Neolithic passage graves of Scotland, the Roman aqueducts of Italy, or the medieval tunnels of England, we are walking in the footsteps of the ancient people who built these remarkable structures. We are seeing the world through their eyes, and we are gaining a deeper appreciation for the challenges they faced and the achievements they accomplished. In the end, Europe's ancient tunnel networks are more than just a collection of underground passages. They are a living testament to the rich and complex history of the continent. They are a reminder of the people who came before us, their struggles and triumphs, their beliefs and values. They are a treasure trove of information, waiting to be discovered and explored as we continue to invest in their preservation and study. We are ensuring that these secret passages of ancient ages will continue to fascinate and inspire generations to come. Whether you are an archaeologist, a historian, an engineer, or simply a curious traveler, Europe's ancient tunnel networks offer something for everyone, a chance to step back in time, to explore the hidden world of ancient Europe, and to connect with the past in a way that is both meaningful and unforgettable. To further expand on the topic, it is important to consider the role of tunnel networks in ancient European trade and commerce. In the Bronze Age, the Tardetian civilization in southern Spain built an extensive network of tunnels to transport valuable metals such as tin and copper, which were essential for the production of bronze. These metals were mined in the mountains of southern Spain and transported via tunnels to the coast, where they were loaded onto ships and traded with other civilizations across the Mediterranean. The Tardetian tunnels were often lined with stone slabs and featured ventilation shafts to allow airflow, making it possible for miners and traders to move through them safely. The tunnels also had hidden entrances, which helped to protect the valuable metals from thieves and raiders. This trade network was crucial for the Bronze Age economy, as bronze was used to make tools, weapons, and other essential items. The Tardetian tunnel network is a testament to the importance of trade in ancient Europe and the role that tunnel networks played in facilitating this trade. In the Roman period, tunnel networks were also used to facilitate trade and commerce. The Roman Empire had an extensive network of roads and aqueducts, but tunnels were often used to transport goods through difficult terrain, such as mountains or rivers. For example, the Roman tunnel at Positano in Italy was built to transport goods from the coast to the interior of the country, bypassing the steep mountains that separated the two regions. The tunnel is approximately 1 kilometer long, and it is lined with stone, making it durable and safe for traders to use. The Romans also used tunnels to transport water to their cities, which was essential for agriculture, industry, and daily life. The Aquae Claudia aqueduct, which supplied water to Rome, is a prime example of how tunnel networks were used to support the Roman economy and way of life. The aqueduct's tunnels ensured that water was transported from the source to the city efficiently, allowing Rome to grow and thrive. During the medieval period, tunnel networks were used for smuggling, which was a common practice due to the heavy taxes imposed on goods by local governments and monarchs. Merchants would use secret tunnels to smuggle goods, such as wine, salt, and textiles into cities without paying taxes, allowing them to make a profit. In cities such as Bruges, Antwerp, and Venice, tunnel networks connected warehouses, markets, and homes, allowing merchants to move goods secretly. These tunnels were often narrow and hidden, with entrances concealed in cellars or behind walls. In some cases, the tunnels were even connected to the city's sewer system, allowing merchants to move goods undetected by the authorities. Smuggling tunnels were also common along Europe's borders, where merchants would smuggle goods between countries to avoid customs duties. For example, along the border between France and Spain, there is a network of tunnels that were used to smuggle wine, tobacco, and other goods during the Middle Ages. These tunnels are often narrow and winding, with hidden entrances in the mountains or forests. The use of tunnel networks for smuggling reflects the economic challenges faced by merchants in medieval Europe and their ingenuity in finding ways to bypass taxes and regulations. Another important aspect of Europe's ancient tunnel networks is their role in religious and ceremonial practices. Many tunnel networks were built for religious purposes, serving as places of worship, ritual, and burial. The Neolithic passage graves in Scotland and Ireland, such as Newgrange and Michaud, were used for burial rituals and astronomical observations. The alignment of these tunnels with the sun during solstices suggests that they were used for sun worship, and the carvings on the stone slabs may have had religious significance. The Etruscan hypogea were used for religious rituals and sacrifices, with the tunnels and chambers representing the underworld. The Etruscans believed that the gods and ancestors resided in the underworld, and the hypogea were designed to allow people to communicate with them. The Celtic fagus may have been used for ritual gatherings, as well as for storage and defense. The Celts were a deeply religious people, and they believed in the importance of connecting with the natural world and the spirit realm. The fagus, with their hidden entrances and dark chambers, may have been used for rituals that were meant to be kept secret from outsiders. In the Roman period, tunnel networks were used for religious purposes as well. The crypt of St. Peter in Rome is a vast underground complex of tunnels and chambers that contains the tombs of popes and other important religious figures. The crypt was built in the 1st century CE, and it has been expanded and modified over the centuries. The tunnels and chambers are decorated with religious carvings and frescoes, and they are used for prayer and meditation. The Roman catacombs, such as the catacombs of San Callisto, were also used for burial and religious rituals. These catacombs feature a network of tunnels and chambers that contain the remains of early Christians, and they were used as places of worship during times of persecution. The catacombs are decorated with Christian symbols, such as the cross and the fish, and they provide valuable insights into the early Christian church. During the medieval period, tunnel networks were used for religious purposes as well. Many monasteries and convents built underground chambers for prayer, meditation, and the storage of religious relics. These chambers, often referred to as crypts, were typically located beneath churches or chapels, and they were decorated with religious carvings and frescoes. The crypt of St. Denis in Paris, for example, is a vast underground complex that contains the tombs of French kings and queens, as well as other important religious figures. The crypt is decorated with intricate carvings and stained glass, and it is used for prayer and meditation. The medieval tunnels beneath the monasteries of Ireland, such as the monastery of Clonmacnoise, were used to hide Christian relics during the Viking invasions. These tunnels were narrow and hidden, with entrances concealed by bushes or rocks, making them ideal for hiding valuable relics. The role of tunnel networks in defense is another important aspect to consider. Throughout history, tunnel networks have been used to protect people and property from attacks. In the Bronze Age, the Urnfield culture built underground tunnels known as fellgraben that were used for defense. These tunnels were dug around settlements, forming a network of hidden passages that allowed defenders to move around the perimeter without being seen by attackers. Some of these tunnels were equipped with trapdoors and hidden entrances, making them ideal for ambushes and surprise attacks. In the Iron Age, the Celts built hill forts with extensive tunnel networks that were used for defense. The Oppidum of Manching in Germany, for example, features a network of tunnels that allowed defenders to move between different parts of the hill fort and to launch surprise attacks on besieging forces. The tunnels were also used to store weapons and supplies, ensuring that the defenders could hold out for long periods of time. During the Roman period, tunnel networks were used to defend the empire's borders. The Hadrian's Wall, which stretches across northern England, features a network of tunnels and underground chambers that were used to store supplies, house troops, and monitor enemy movements.